We are live on a Monday. I wanted to wish everyone a fantastic week ahead. It's Monday, make the best of it. You have 7 earnings days before you, or you might be restructuring or looking at plan B and plan C because those high gas prices are just not bringing you the profits that you expect. Whatever you're doing on this Monday, I hope you and your family are blessed and doing well and are healthy and are safe from the rideshare professor. Now, in New York, appeals court, right? When you appeal something, and when you lose an appeals court, it's not a good thing, right? Sometimes you can win an appeals court and the problem goes away. But for Uber and Lyft, the problems just don't seem to go away. Lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, and they're constantly digging themselves out of the mud that they're stuck in, trying to settle here, trying to settle there. But the abusive pattern of, taking advantage of a situation, taking advantage of drivers, and then later hopefully paying a fraction of those court costs or court fees or penalties or damages in a settlement. That's always what they bank on. Let's see what we can take, and let's settle for minimal dollars. Let's see what we can take, and then settle for nothing. In this case, they are now supposed to pay up $92 million. $92 million for 31,000 cases. Just listen to this. 31,000 cases brought against Uber. And what Uber obviously always tries to do, they try to shove you into arbitration, the consumer, the driver, the delivery driver. You know what? You didn't opt out of all contracts. You have to go before the AAA, the American Arbitration Association. We pretty much control that arbitration, and you will get a fraction of the damages that you are seeking, right? But they are used to settling these arbitration cases for pennies on the dollar. But this time around, these people want to be paid. They say, okay, for each arbitration case, we want to be paid, or the attorneys want to be paid $1,400 to $1,500. And I'm going to leave the link below because it's quite an interesting read. And Uber now will probably have to rethink their strategy a bit, because they really got slapped down on this one. And if you look at the stock price again, we're on $31, right? They just cannot seem to get out of that $30 to $35 bracket, just not making any movement. And when I make videos of this nature and tell people or tell the public, it's no wonder the Uber stock is not getting any traction, right? It's no wonder it's on $31 based on their history, based on what they continue to do. They never, ever learn. And even Warren Buffett made some remarks, like, they're just all over the map. They're just too wishy-washy. They're not focused. I'll try and throw some crap on the roof and hope that something sticks, right? They're sort of like, oh, we're the app for everything. The app for everything. Well, everything, if you start sleeping with taxi companies, which Dara Khosrowshahi is doing, it doesn't send an investor or someone who is thinking of investing in the stock a clear message that you are confident about your brand, that you're confident about your product, right? Because you're supposed to be this unique, you sort of like went out and make these big bold statements. Hey, we're an app for transport. We're going to revolutionize the taxi industry. We're going to turn everything down. Come on board with us. And what they're doing right now is they're going back and they're actually creating deals with the taxi companies that are spanking them, right? They couldn't drive them out of business. If you can't beat them, you join them. It doesn't look good to an investor. So we stuck on this $31, get all of this news coming out, $92 million lost on appeal, and it's setback after setback after setback. And this is month after month after month after the month. And I still have idiots trying to argue with me. They will call me an idiot, saying you have no idea what you are talking about. I have a very good idea what I'm talking about. I don't claim to be 100% correct, but I get the general vibe that the people or the investors and the public are not happy with the stock, and that they're all over the map, and that they're not focused, and that they're entangled in all of these legal troubles. How do you get out of that? Well, you're going to have to make fundamental changes, and then maybe your stock will start to see fundamental changes. But if you act like a little child, right, like Dara, trying to run a company and more or less running it into the ground, and I want to make a little statement here. If you are in a class action lawsuit against Uber and Lyft, right, I'm going to say this right now. Quote me on this, right? Take your settlement and run. I don't care if it's $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 or $500. Whatever you can get right now, take and run. Because A, they're running out of money. B, they definitely have crappy executive management on the top that are making a ton of mistakes, right? They constantly trying out things, changing things, pilot project after pilot project, which tells me they're just not focused. They just do not know how to make money and stick to the core of their business, transport. They have to experiment, and they keep on effing up, right? So if you are in a class action lawsuit, here's my advice. If you are offered $1,000 or $2,000, take that money and roll it into something bigger and better. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the behavior of the company, the history of the company, the constant failures, burning cash like crazy, right? And you have this opportunity to get, let's say, $2,000 or $1,000 or $1,500 or $3,000, roll that into something better. And when I say into something better, you already have your knowledge, your smarts, your business understanding about this limo transportation industry, because you've done thousands of trips, let's say, on Uber and Lyft. So you already schooled and you're a veteran. And I would highly encourage those people that are in class action lawsuits, if you get an offer, go out and get yourself your private licensing. Roll that $800 or $2,000 into your private licensing, your certifications, whatever you need to get, so that you can become a true independent contractor and a private driver and start recruiting your private clients, right? Start focusing on yourself. Do not be too reliant on Uber and Lyft that could drop you at any moment. At the drop of a hat, they can deactivate you. If one rider simply says you smelt of alcohol, you're done, right? And the riders know how to play this game. The passengers know how to abuse the companies and get their money back. And you will always be the fall guy. And I'm not trying to paint this ultra dark Darth Vader picture, right? I'm giving you the reality, because that's what I'm actually pretty good at, right? I don't dwell and move in the gray zone. It's either ultra bright and light, or it's dark. And right now, I just see a pattern of negatives. That's not me creating the negativity, that's me reporting on the negativity, right? So if you are offered a settlement, roll that into something bigger and better. Go out, get your LLC, get your licensing for Chicago or Los Angeles or San Francisco or Miami or New York or Salt Lake City, and start as a one-man show. You, your office, your car, right? Maybe XL, maybe an SUV. You get your licensing, and you start recruiting private clients so that you can put 100% of those earnings into your own pockets, right? It's important that you are, at least important to me, that you truly explore independent contractorship, because you are not an independent contractor with Uber and Lyft. They say you are. Oh, you're an IC plus. BS. You do not have true independence in the company where you can pick and choose your trips, decline as you wish without being penalized, set your own rates, for example, like with a multiplier. You're not able to do that. So nobody ever tell me or try and convince me that you are a 100% true independent contractor, because you're not. Phoenix is in the house. I will go through the messages later. I got a pretty strong glare sort of in my face on the 405, so I can see the screen, I can see the phone. I can't necessarily see all the writing, right? And I want to keep my eyes focused on the road. I'm traveling about 65 miles an hour, save speed, heading down to Long Beach to look at a couple of my classic cars that I'm working on, getting offloading a whole bunch of auto parts for a Pontiac and a 56 Ford that I'm restoring. And then I head back and start my Monday with a couple of private trips and make some good money, right? But to recap here, Uber's not faring well in arbitration. They want to settle for tiny amounts and force you into arbitration. They constantly send you changes of their terms and conditions and hope that you forget to opt out just once, that you forget to opt out in 30 days so they can say, whoop, they didn't sign our agreement, they didn't opt out, we can force them into arbitration, right? That's how they play the game. And then they think they can settle for pennies on the dollar in arbitration and not have to pay the American Association of Arbitrators much money, right? Settle a case for peanuts, settle it, and save a boatload of legal fees and save a boatload of damages. But they got a little bit of a setback right now. They slapped down in appeals court in New York over 31,000 arbitration cases that the courts want them to settle for $92 million. And if you look at the stock price again, recap, we're on $31. Not much is changing, right? And then I also said, if you are owed money, or if you are in an arbitration, maybe there's a great Boston company like Lyft and Riordan, or there's a great class action law firm in Southern California, Potter Handy, and many others that I've referred drivers to. My advice is take your settlement and roll it into something bigger and better. And when I say bigger and better, you become, or you have the ability to become 100% true independent contractor. One of the guys that I trained up, and I've trained up hundreds and hundreds of drivers to start their own limo company at GigRocket. They made he made $5,500 last weekend on Coachella because he followed a formula, right? So you have the street smarts, you have the knowledge from Uber and Lyft, you have the credentials, you've done the trips, you've maybe done a few thousand trips each. There's nothing anyone can teach you. You know the game. Now you need to go and explore that third tier, that third platform, which is true 100% independent contractorship. It's you as a limo driver, you as a private chauffeur, you as a private driver, driving private clients that you bill. They can pay you through Venmo. They can pay you through a credit card processor. They can pay you through PayPal. Most beautiful thing of all, they can pay you cash, right? And guess what? 100% of those earnings go into your pocket, not the company's pocket, into your company, into your LLC. And this is what I try and teach people and try and encourage people to do. So if there is a settlement on the horizon, take it, get your licensing, right? and roll that as like a little investment into something bigger and better. And you can always keep on driving on Uber and Lyft and recruit their clients away. I know that some people say, how can you ever encourage people to recruit clients away from Uber and Lyft? It's because you need to take care of yourself, right? If you do it the right way, if you do it in a soft sell and not too aggressively handing out business cards to everyone, you're not going to get caught. Take their clients. They're taking your money. They're not shy to take 60% of your earnings, right? Start taking their clients, right? So that is how you have to look at it. You know, I've probably recruited over 200 Uber clients that are my private clients right now. And sure, they're still here and there. If they're traveling internationally, they'll always still catch an Uber. But when they're in LA, they drive with Torsten, the rideshare professor, right? You know, and if need be, I have a backup or a backup for a backup. If I have multiple bookings, that's where I'd like to see you. So on my course, you can still use Lucky Strike, the code Lucky Strike at Gig Rocket. Go and do the private chauffeur course. Take your settlement, my advice, and turn it into something bigger and better. Because the pattern is not going to change. Only time we might see a change is if we see a change in leadership. And Dara is not a leader. He's shown over and over again he does not know how to lead a company. That's why he's stuck at a crappy $31 today, the stock price, right? So whatever you take from this video, I sure hope that you hit the like. We're 30-something people in the house right now. How many people? We have 39, almost 40 people in the house. It's Monday. I wanted to use this opportunity to wish you an amazing week, to please be safe, right? Be alert, be healthy, eat healthy, do your stretches, go out there, make money, or start setting up plan B and plan C. And if you have questions, you'll always see my email and phone number underneath the videos. Now I'm wondering if I actually overshot where I need to get off, and I think I did. I think I have driven way past the exit that I was supposed to take. Yes, I screwed up big time. So I'm gonna cut the video short here. There I am chatting away, and I completely passed the exit. So I'm gonna backtrack on the highway right now, get back to my destination. I missed the turnoff. I wish you well, guys. Happy Monday, everyone. I'll be back soon.